I promised you pumpkin cheesecake, and here we are in the test kitchen, really my kitchen, but we're going to call it the test kitchen, to make a great pumpkin cheesecake. We're going to start by making the crust, which is how you always start a cheesecake. Now in the crust, you need 2 cups of ginger snaps. These are cookies I bought at Stop and Shop in a package. Crush them up in a food processor by hand with a rolling pin and a Ziploc bag. Let's see, there we go. There's 1 cup. Let me get a spoon. Put the rest of these crumbs in a Ziploc bag. Save them for the next time you need them. Won't have to crush so many. Or you know what? Use them and layer them with pudding or ice cream for a little quick trifle. A little whipped cream on top. Delicious. There we go. 2 cups of crumbs. With that, we're going to add a teaspoon of cinnamon. Oops, I forgot. I gotta melt the butter. Let me do that right now. While that's melting, let's just go over what we're going to have in the filling. I've got 4 packages, 4 8-ounce packages of cream cheese, whole fat cream cheese in my KitchenAid bowl. We're going to add to that, let me see, 1.5 cups of sugar. Just dump that right in. Oops. There you go. Cream cheese has to be at room temperature. Mine is still, well, it's not too bad. Just a little bit chilled, but while we work the crust, this can come to room temperature. All right, we're going to lift the bowl up. Start mixing that up. You're going to mix that until it is very creamy and all combined. Did you notice I'm here alone? Where, oh where can Karen be? Where in the world is Karen? Karen's outside. Lucky girl. Well, she's doing some lawns with her landscaping business, but she'll be in later to make us our coffee drinks to go with the cheesecake. Butter's almost melted. Let me turn that off for a minute. I'm not going to use that. Let's get my spoon. Just mix up the crumbs with the cinnamon before you put the butter in, so it's well distributed. Okay, add the butter. Mix it in. And then you're gonna be able to use your hands to pat it in the pan. Okay? Just going to dump those right into the pan. All in there. And then you're just going to press them to the bottom of the pan. As you press, they naturally come up the side. You just want to have it go up about 1 inch on the side. Not too much. They just fall down anyway. So as you press into the corner, try to make it as even as possible on the bottom. They naturally flow up the side of the pan. So there you go, simple as that. I've preheated my oven to 325. It's preheated. We're going to pop this in there for, let me see, I think it's 8 minutes. Let me get the timer on. Okay, it's time to scrape. You want to scrape down the sides of the pan of the bowl a couple of times. Make sure that all the cream cheese is really whipped up nice and fluffy. KitchenAid mixer, great thing to have. You want to move that paddle out of the way so you can get to the other side. For making anything with really stiff ingredients like this, or I've done a couple of wedding cakes and needed the KitchenAid for that. When you're doing big, large batches, you need a big bowl. Just scrape that down. Start it again. You really want to get some air into it. You want to whip it up till it's nice and fluffy. Here they are. You know, the eggs really should be at room temperature, and we'll pretend that they are. Hold them for a few minutes. a teaspoon and a half of cinnamon, teaspoon of sugar, and 3 tablespoons of flour. Sprinkle that in, add that in, mix that in. When you're adding dry ingredients, you don't want to flip that switch too high because your kitchen will be wearing the ingredients. You want to start it off low. As they become part of the mixture, you can increase the speed to blend it all the way through. You want to scrape this down because the cream cheese on the side really doesn't have any spice mixture into it, so scrape it down. Cooking is not an exact science. Baking is more of an exact science. You really do need the right amount of leavening. You don't want too much flour. Let me get something to scrape this off so I'm not using my fingers. But cooking itself, as far as cooking main dishes and things like that, that's very experimental. Whatever you like to do, you do. When you add the eggs to the mixing bowl, you want to crack them into a separate bowl, one at a time, and add them to the cheesecake, to the cheese mixture. You don't want to crack the egg and put it directly into the bowl. Something might be wrong with the egg, and then the entire mixture would be ruined. You also don't want to crack an egg on the side of anything. Shell then gets pushed into the egg, and it might be a very, very tiny piece, but it's still a part. So you just want to crack it on something flat, put it into the bowl, add it. There's one. Add them one at a time. Incorporate it fully into the cheese mixture. I hear the timer. Our crust is done. Let's take it out. Take a look. Let me get a rack to put it on. They always use pot holders. There it is. All done. Ready to go. Smells great. Oops.